Hello and welcome to our recorded version of our transfer visit day. Today you will be able to listen to us go over our general transfer admission session. For any transfer students who are interested in attending the University of Minnesota but are unfortunately unable to attend one of our transfer visit days. So today we will be going over this presentation. And please keep in mind, if you are able to attend one of our sessions in the future, we'd be more than happy to have you join as we do both this general presentation and college-specific presentations that you'll be able to learn a lot from. So the first thing we want to do is our land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the University of Minnesota Twin Cities is built within the traditional homelands of the Dakota people. It's important to acknowledge the peoples on whose land we live, learn, and work as we seek to improve and strengthen our relations with our tribal nations. We also acknowledge that words are not enough, and we must ensure that our institution provides support, resources, and programs that increase access to all aspects of higher education for our American Indian students, staff, faculty, and community members. We also have our diversity and equity statement. The Office of Admissions, along with the University of Minnesota community, vows to support our community members who continue to face inequities. We know, however, that words are not enough and that a commitment to action will not suffice. We must demonstrate that we're taking that action. It will take courage to confront our past mistakes and our personal and institutional biases, to have difficult conversations, and to risk missteps. As an institution of teaching and learning, we are both obligated and well-positioned to do just that. We denounce all forms of violence, discrimination, racism, and bias. We join our President Gable in committing to bringing our energy, our passion, and our care for each other to end the heartbreaking cycle of racially motivated violence and discrimination. So just a brief overview of what will be covered today during this virtual presentation. First, you're going to be learning a little bit more about how our campus is set up, as well as our majors. You'll then learn some more information about the application process itself. We'll go into some information about student life, and then financing, as well as housing, how your credits will transfer, information about how orientation works, the impacts of COVID-19, and then just some contact information at the end. So the first thing to know when you're considering transferring to the University of Minnesota Twin Cities is we have different colleges within our university. So as you can see on the screen, we have these different colleges, and these colleges all host specific majors. So if you're interested in studying psychology, you would be applying to be a student of the College of Liberal Arts within the University of Minnesota. Other examples include chemical engineering within the College of Science and Engineering, or maybe you're interested in finance within our Carlson School of Management. All majors have specific colleges they fall under, so you wouldn't be able to apply for finance within the School of Nursing. So similar to how we have different colleges within our university system, we are one university with 3 different campuses. This might sound misleading. All of these campuses are close to each other with our East and West Bank, which are cleverly named after what side of the Mississippi they're on, and then our St. Paul campus. It's very easy to walk between the East and West Bank, and while you are able to walk to the St. Paul campus, it is a lot easier to hop onto one of our free campus connectors, which runs different routes throughout all different parts of our campus and can get you from West Bank to St. Paul in 20 minutes or less. So one of the other major things students need to consider when they're applying is what they want to major in. The University of Minnesota has over 160 different majors for you to choose from, and it's important that you learn about what major you want to apply to. If you're kind of interested in a specific field or job, but aren't quite sure what major matches up with that, we have a really nice feature on our majors website, which is listed there underneath the title. And on the Explore Your Interest section, you can actually just put in a subject you are interested in or a field of study you're interested in, and it'll show you all of our related majors to that field. So once you've figured out what major you are interested in studying and applying to, the most important next step for you to take is to go learn more about that program. Some of our programs do require prerequisites being completed, or specific GPA requirements or credit minimum, and we want to make sure that as you're applying, you've met all of these different criterias so that you aren't denied due to not meeting our criterias. It would be a shame if you were a perfect student but you didn't have your prerequisites done, as that is a requirement for admission. The next thing to really look into is our application deadlines. For both our spring and fall semesters, we have both a priority and final deadline. Any applications that are completed after the priority deadline are only reviewed on a space available basis. And some of these programs do fill up quickly, so we always recommend that students submit their application materials before the priority deadline, as again, we don't want you to not be admitted because there's no longer space in your program of interest. Please also note that while we have spring and fall admissions, not every college within the university has spring and fall admissions, so you'll want to keep an eye out to see if your program of interest does have spring admission or not. So now that you've looked over your major, figured out what materials and classes have to be completed before you apply, now it's the time for you to actually submit your application. What you're going to do is you're going to go to our website and you're going to fill out the Golden Gopher application. This is the only place that transfer students are able to submit an application, as unfortunately we do not accept the Common App for transfer students. So when you're filling out your application, you're able to list both a first and second choice college and major. So here on the screen you can see in this example, the first choice was economics within the College of Liberal Arts with an alternative major within the College of Liberal Arts of math. And then for their second choice college, they applied for finance, which is within our Carlson School of Management. Please note you do not need to list an alternative major or a second choice college if you only have one program that you're interested in. So besides submitting your application, there's some material that is required by all of our colleges. Every college requires that students submit the $55 application fee, or while they're filling out their application, include the section for the application fee waiver. Every college also does require official college transcripts from any institution that you have enrolled at for post-secondary credits, including if you took PSEO courses while in high school. And then some of our colleges do also require a supplemental application. That is just some of our colleges and not all of them. You can see those listed on the screen here. One of the really nice things that we have for students is that we do not require letters of recommendation or long-form essays for students. We do have spaces on the application for short answers, so if you have anything you'd like to explain, whether it's why you're choosing your major or any material you think is of note while we review your application, there is space for you to include that on the application itself. To kind of break down the application materials for you a little bit further, there is a few unique rules that come with your high school diploma, and if you will have to submit that transcript before your application. For any student who is applying to the University of Minnesota with under 26 transferable credits at their time of applying, will need to submit their high school transcript that includes their date of graduation. At this time, we are test optional for students under 26 credits, so you can choose if you would like to submit an ACT or an SAT score. If you have over 26 transferable credits, you do not need to submit your high school transcript at your time of applying. So one of the really nice things that we offer for students who are applying is through our application tracker. This is a tool which materials that have been received will be listed, and so you're able to see what information we currently have on file for you, as well as if we're requesting any additional materials. If you've submitted your documents and we have processed them and added them to your file, you'll see a green check mark next to them. And if we are requesting any information that has not yet been processed, it will have a red X. One of the other really important things for students to note with this is those hyperlinks that you can see an example of with the current courses in progress. I know we were just talking about those supplemental applications. That is also where this will be listed. Anything with a hyperlink, such as the current college courses in progress or supplemental applications, that's where you're going to submit that information. So when going to submit your supplemental application, you'll need to go into your application tracker and click on that hyperlink, similar to how your courses in progress could be listed. This is also the first place that we will list a decision on your application. And so it's important for you to go and check that application tracker every few days, as this will be the first place that you'll receive any sort of indication on your application. A really nice program that we have is our Minnesota Cooperative Admissions Program, or MNCAP for short. This is a program that we've worked on with some of the two-year institutions across Minnesota, but most of them within the Twin Cities area. So with this program, you have guaranteed admission into select majors within our institution, as long as you sign up for this program and meet all of the requirements for your specific major. That can include classes that need to be taken, GPA requirements, specific grades for courses, and it can depend a little bit on what major you're looking at. It is important to note that this program is not for all of our majors. So if you're interested in learning more about the MNCAP program, we do have a lot more information on our website. Otherwise, you can feel free to reach out to us as well. So every student that attends the University of Minnesota has to complete their liberal education requirements. This is kind of our term for your gen eds. And we have these requirements in place because we want to make sure that our students are well-rounded and have a multidisciplinary perspective once they graduate. It's also a good way to kind of take classes that maybe aren't within your usual field of study and kind of expand both your own knowledge of these different areas as well as just learning how to deal with maybe some fields that aren't your strongest suit. A quick note as well, we do welcome all types of students at the University of Minnesota. We accept students that are international, recent immigrants, and DACA students. And if you have more questions specific to this, feel free to visit the websites listed on this slide. So once you get to the University of Minnesota, while your academics are important, there's a lot of other factors that come with being a student here. One of the many great things that we offer students is the opportunity to join in on a bunch of different types of student groups. We have over 1,000 student groups that students are able to join, and they can go from professional student groups like the pre-law student group to different fun activities like different dance clubs. There's a Quidditch group, there's laser tag. Whatever you're interested in, there's likely a student group that's out there for you. And if you can't find a student group that fits your interest, it is nice students are able to create their own. All you have to do is grab a few friends, I believe $5 per person, and then you're able to create your own student group. One of the other major opportunities that we offer for students is the chance to study abroad. We have over 250 different opportunities in over 70 countries around the world. So there's a lot of different options as well when it comes to these programs. If you wanted to do a Spanish immersion program in Spain for a year, go to Spain for a year. If you really wanted to go and do a semester abroad in Italy because you have always loved pasta and Italian food, you can do that. Maybe you only wanted to travel someplace for a few weeks. Those are options as well. And it's really a great opportunity for you to go see a different part of the world and experience different cultures while still keeping at least somewhat on track for your education. One of the other major things that we're able to offer for students is the opportunity to go to a bunch of different sporting events. We are part of the Big Ten Conference with 21 Division I teams. What's nice is almost all of these events are free for students to attend. There's a select few sports that you have to pay for a ticket, but we do have student rates for those tickets to try and keep the cost as friendly as possible for you. Going to these different sporting events is a great way to kind of get in school spirit, as everyone around you is getting all hyped about the Gophers. But if you're not into sports, that's not a problem as well. We do offer a ton of different types of events as well, and so pretty much everyone can find something of interest for them to do on campus. Say you're really into trivia. We'll have different trivia nights hosted at our student union. We have free movies or career fairs if that's what you're interested in attending. We actually even have our own art museum on campus. So there's definitely events for everyone to go and attend and enjoy. One of the last really important things to mention here in the student life aspect is the opportunity for students to get involved in research. We are a research institution, and so it gives a lot of opportunities for you to get involved in fields early on in your undergraduate career that maybe you wouldn't be able to experience at another institution. So now, for a lot of students, one of their big questions when they're looking to transfer is just learning more about the cost. So as you can see on screen, we have the estimated tuition and fees for the 2021-2022 academic year, with Minnesota residents and students who have reciprocity in North Dakota, South Dakota, Manitoba, and Wisconsin having the same rates. You will notice that students that are not residents or have reciprocity do have a larger tuition rate. This is something that's important to note, as if you've moved to Minnesota, you'll want to make sure you have lived here for non-academic purposes to be able to gain residency. We also want to be upfront with students in that your tuition is not the entire cost of your attendance when you're in school. If you decide to live on campus, that'll add costs, or if you decide to get meal plans. We also like to make sure that students recognize that there are other expenses that can come along with that as well. If you decide to live off campus, maybe you have to pay for parking. You'll have to buy books or supplies for your classes. And then we also live in the Twin Cities, where there are a lot of different opportunities for students to go out and have fun nights out, whether that's going to a Timberwolves game, going to a different play or musical or a concert. There's a lot of opportunities to go do something fun in the Twin Cities, and so we want you to keep that in mind when you're thinking of these costs. One of the ways that we try and keep costs down as much as possible for students is we offer free credits after 13 per semester. So each semester, if you take over 13 credits, any credits that are above that amount, you will not be charged for. So if you take 16 credits in your fall of 2022 semester, 3 of those credits will be free to you. Most students take about 15 to 16 credits per semester, as that will get them to 120 credits over 4 years, which is our minimum for students to be able to graduate. The free application for Federal Student Aid, or FAFSA, is used to determine your eligibility for federal, state, and university aid programs, and you may apply for aid before you receive an admissions decision from the University of Minnesota. We actually recommend that you submit this form before you receive a decision, as once those programs and aids have been distributed, we aren't able to get more. So again, the earlier you submit this information, the better. There is the opportunity for transfer students to receive scholarships and be a part of our honors program. Scholarships are handled by the individual colleges, and you're automatically reviewed for scholarships by applying. For students who are interested in the honors program, they will need to apply specifically for that program. There is some eligibility requirements for our honors program. Students must have a minimum GPA of 3.5 with a strong history of performance in their major and prerequisite coursework, and they must have at least 2 years left of schooling at the University of Minnesota. A lot of students decide that they want to work while they're in school, and we have a lot of opportunities for students to be able to work on campus. Whether that's working different jobs within the residence halls, you could be working in the dining hall or the front desk. You're able to work different parts of the institution, and it's a great way to get your foot in the door. I actually had worked previously in the admissions call center as a student worker, and through that was able to network. So one day when I did graduate, I was able to actually have this network and able to get a full-time job. If you're interested in working, but maybe not working on campus itself, we do also have a very large internship pool for students to be able to look into. Being based in the Twin Cities, we have a lot of different Fortune 500 companies and nonprofits available that we've worked hard to build partnerships with and are able to get a lot of different internship opportunities for students. Internships are a great way for students to go and build their network, as well as kind of try out different jobs and see if it's a good fit for them before they graduate from school. Some students decide that they do want to live on campus after they transfer, and there are a few different options for students. As you can see, we have both residence halls, which accept transfer students, as well as apartment complexes on the university campus that you would be able to live in. One of the nice things about living on campus is you could choose to live in one of our living learning communities, or LLCs. Now, these LLCs are a great way to meet people who have a similar background or interest as yourself. For example, you can see we have the CSE Transfer House. So this would be a specific wing of a residence hall that is only available for students who are transferring into the College of Science and Engineering. This is a great way for those students to be able to quickly bond over maybe shared classes or interests. Not all of them are specific to colleges. For example, we have the Fetch program, which is a place that they actually foster dogs. And there's a lot of different opportunities for you to get into these different LLCs and meet people through that way. We do have a transfer housing guarantee that students are able to submit a form for. Priority for this guarantee is given to students who are interested in living in one of these LLCs. And it's important to note that housing options can be limited, particularly for the spring semester. So if you're interested in living on campus in some of our housing, this is a good option for students who are looking to do just that. I'd recommend reaching out to our Housing and Residential Life office for more information. One of the main questions students have when they're looking to transfer is how are your courses going to transfer from your current institution to the University of Minnesota? We actually use a really nice tool called Transferology, and it is an online database that'll show exactly how your courses transfer from one institution to another. Transferology is a free tool for students to use. So what you'll do is you'll go in and you'll input your courses and different materials that you've taken at these different institutions. And there is also an option to upload an unofficial transcript if you don't feel like typing it out. So once all of your courses have been inputted into Transferology, you'll then select the University of Minnesota, and it'll show you exactly how those courses transfer. So in this example on the screen, if you look at the second from the top, their Biology 1105 was a direct equivalency to our Biology 1009. And so it'll transfer in as Biology 1009. The example above it, the Anthropology class, shows up as Anthro 1T****. This means that we recognize that this is a credit that we will take into consideration, and it will count towards your 120 credits. But we do not have a class that is close enough related to it, and so it doesn't come in as a direct equivalency. If it has the 1T****, that means it will transfer in as a 1000 level course. What's also nice with Transferology is it will show you if your courses will count towards your liberal education requirements. And then if you're on Transferology and you've inputted all of your classes and one of them doesn't show up, that does not mean that we don't accept the credit. It just means that we have not yet reviewed that credit for its equivalencies. Any student, even if you have not yet submitted an application, can submit a course for review to see if that course will transfer to our institution. All you have to do is go to our website and submit the forms as well as a syllabus for the class. And then within about 3 to 4 weeks, you'll receive an email letting you know if that class is transferable, and then it will be updated onto Transferology as well. So you've gone through the process of applying and being admitted, and you've decided you're coming to the University of Minnesota. The next step for you to do is sign up for your orientation. Orientation is important for students because this is where you're going to be registering for your courses as well as meeting your academic advisor. We always recommend that students sign up for the earliest orientation date possible for them, as that way hopefully all of their classes of interest all still have openings. We recognize that COVID-19 has made a large impact both on the world and to students on an individual level, and this is something that we keep in mind when doing reviews for applications. The University of Minnesota itself does keep an eye on COVID-19 and the trends, and we will continue to make decisions that keep our campus as safe as possible. So this is the end of our general presentation. Hopefully you were able to learn some good information through this. And if you have any specific questions, feel free to reach out to either our general admissions email or to your specific college if they are listed here and you have questions that seem more specific than the general line would be able to provide. Again, I hope this has been really helpful for you, and please do consider signing up for one of our transfer visit days in the future so you're able to get your college-specific information. Thanks!